Hello, welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G. This is your weather today, and we're going to be talking about the weather forecast for your holiday evening tonight and your 7-day forecast for the days to come. We got a snowstorm to talk about, as well as some severe weather that we're going to be seeing over the next 7 to 10 days. So let's jump right into things right now. Here is our current radar and our surface features that we're seeing out there, and we have some wet weather over towards portions of the Great Lakes and into the northeast and mid-Atlantic. So we are seeing some scattered rain showers in this pool of cold air here toward the northeast and the Great Lakes. So Indiana, Ohio, into Pennsylvania, upstate New York, as well as through West Virginia and Virginia, North Carolina, the DC area as well is seeing those rain showers this evening. And we have a pretty potent storm here in the Pacific Northwest with some much needed rainfall taking place, and we're going to be seeing some mountain snow as well through the Cascades and the far Northern Rockies along the Canadian border there with Glacier National Park in Montana. So please be prepared and take precautions with that. If you're driving in those areas, remember, take your snow chains or whatever you may be required. And then we are seeing some showers and some thunderstorms down here across the South Texas coast, and some of these guys are severe. We got some hailers and some potential for flash flooding down there across the southern coast this evening right now. And here we are to talk about our current temperatures. And those temperatures, we're seeing a lot of 60s here through the central and northern plains, as well as into the Great Lakes, some 50s, lower 60s as well, and those 50s in the interior of the Northeast, but lower 60s along the coast. And we're seeing those 60s rise to the 70s across the Southeast and along the Gulf Coast. Some 80s down across the state of Florida right now. And then over toward the Southwest, those 80s in the desert Southwest, 60s and 70s along the coast. But in the Pacific Northwest, we are seeing those temperatures in the upper 40s to the middle 50s. So pretty cool and rainy out across the Pacific Northwest. So that is the current temperature conditions across America this evening, and your rain and snow forecast for the next 48 hours. We will be dealing with those showers and thunderstorms along the Texas coast in the Rio Grande Valley here over the next 48 hours. This is mostly going to be this evening and into tomorrow, but we're going to see that diminish tomorrow night. And we're going to see some snow here across the Northern Rockies and the Cascade Mountain Range with some rain showers. And you can see our legend there that will tell you our rainfall amounts. And we're looking at about 10 inches of snow through portions of the Northern Rockies over the next 48 hours. And we're also looking at about a half inch to 2 inches of rain into portions of the Pacific Northwest. We're going to see some rain down into California as well over the next 48 hours. And we can see about an inch in the Bay Area as well as the Central Valley of California. A half inch or less of rain here into portions of the mid-Atlantic, North Carolina and Virginia, all the way up through Maryland, DC, Delaware. We got New Jersey and portions of Long Island could see some of that rainfall over the next 48 hours, all right? And here we are with our average high temperatures for this time of the year. We're seeing those 30s expected for the northern plains. This is for the month of November, so we're going to start to see, at least we're supposed to start to see, temperatures cool across the northern tier of the nation near the Canadian border. Those 30s in the northern plains, a lot of 40s in the Midwest, 50s across the nation's midsection, the mid-Atlantic, and we're going to see those 60s down along the Gulf Coast and the southern plains, but those 70s right along the Gulf Coast and into the far southeast, and those 80s down there in South Florida. As you can tell with our weather, we're pretty much above average from the Gulf Coast to the Canadian border. We're seeing those temperatures here in the 60s across the northern plains, and we're seeing those 80s along the Texas coast and the state of Florida. So we're kind of slightly above normal to the south, but very much above normal to the north. And that's going to be kind of a theme that we're going to be going with this fall, where we're going to be above average, above in the northern plains and the Great Lakes and the upper Mississippi Valley, and even into the northeast. We're going to see a pretty much above average temperatures expected. kind of somewhat more near normal along the southern portions of the U.S. And here we are as we talk about Tropical Storm Lisa that we have down here across the Southern Caribbean. If you're cruising or anything like that, you might want to pay attention to these weather forecasts if you have an upcoming cruise. Now, Lisa is not going to be a big storm. It's going to be, it may spend a brief time as a Category 1 hurricane before weakening, before making landshore. We think it's going to make landfall near Belize City. So just to the south of Belize City, we have tropical storm watches in place across Nicaragua and portions of South America there. We even have one here through Kingston, Jamaica, and we had one in the Cayman Islands, but it looked like the Cayman Islands warning has been dropped, but we still have that storm that's going to pass to the south of Jamaica. And here is the track for Tropical Storm Lisa as it moves to the west. It's going to primarily hit Central and Southern Central America, so Belize City, and it could also hit the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. So Southern Mexico, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and Belize going to be dealing with the brunt of Tropical Storm Lisa as it may become a weak Category 1 hurricane, but it's expected to weaken before making landfall. It's going to lower back down to tropical storm status. And here we are as we take a look at your forecast for today. So for the rest of the day, we're seeing those high temperatures today. We saw them in the 60s across the Great Lakes and the northern plains, and in the northeast, those 60s as well. 70s across the southeast and the mid-Atlantic states and the mid-south. We're seeing those temperatures in the 70s and upper 70s to 80 down along the Gulf Coast, South Texas as well, South Florida. Those temperatures were in the 80s today, and we're seeing those 80s across the Southwest. Down there in Phoenix, LA is 79 degrees, and those 60s across the Central and Southern Rockies and Central California, temperatures in the 60s. But in the Pacific Northwest, those highs are in the 50s as well with that rain-cooled air. So here we are as we talk about tonight's forecast. We're going to be seeing those temperatures in the Southwest in the 50s under partly cloudy skies. Rain will start to move into San Francisco overnight tonight, and we're going to be seeing rain showers move into Northern California, the Pacific Northwest as well. We're going to continue to see that rain in Seattle and Portland, and that rain is going to start to move over into Cut Bank, Montana. We're going to see some snow, and we're going to start to see snow in Boise and snow moving to the Salt Lake City area and Billings as well. Some overnight rain and some snow in some of the higher elevations. A cool night across the northern plains into Minnesota and Wisconsin. We're seeing them temperatures of 33 near International Falls, 40s in Minneapolis, 40s in Chicago as well. So we're seeing those 40s and 50s down the Mississippi corridor, the river corridor here to the Gulf Coast. And we're seeing those temperatures in the 60s along the Gulf Coast, and 60s and 70s in far South Florida, 60s up the southeastern seaboard, and those 50s across portions of the Northeast tonight as well. And here we are for your forecast for your Tuesday morning. We have that heavy rain here in the Pacific Northwest from this very powerful storm, a potent storm. This storm is going to wreak havoc across the nation later this week and next weekend and into the following week, where we're going to be seeing some severe weather from this guy and even a snowstorm. We're going to talk about that potential for the first significant snow across the Midwest coming up in about 10 days. So we will be seeing this storm play a role in some of that as another storm is going to develop right on its heels. And we have our system here in the Northeast and into portions of the Mid-Atlantic states. And this is going to be there tomorrow, where we're going to be seeing some rain showers through the Mid-Atlantic and the interior portions of the Northeast. So Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, New York there, Rochester, and Buffalo, going to be seeing some rain showers in the morning. A little bit heavier rain down here across the D.C. area and Maryland. Might be some pretty hefty showers for you guys, and then some more showers here across Lake Cape Hatteras and over toward the Charlotte area. And we're going to be seeing dry weather tomorrow morning across the nation's midsection, We do have this area across South Texas and along the Gulf Coast in the Rio Grande Valley where we're going to be dealing with some thunderstorms, and some of them going to be quite potent there, and we could be dealing with some hail as well as some flooding concerns as well down there across South Texas. And then tomorrow evening, this starts to diminish along the Gulf Coast, and our guy up here moves offshore, so conditions will improve across the Northeast. But our Pacific Northwestern storm comes further onshore, and look at that frontal system that's going to drop all the way down to Southern California, where we could see some rain moving into the Southland. So LA and Orange County might pick up some rain showers, and we're going to be seeing snow across the Rio Grande and the Northern Rockies, and more heavy rain across the Pacific Northwest. We all know you guys really need it, but we just don't want to get too much too fast. So here we are as we take a look at our extended weather forecast. This is for your Wednesday. And Wednesday, we're seeing that big storm there across the Northern Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Look at all that heavy snow through Montana and Colorado and into Wyoming as well. We're going to also see snow in Nevada and the Sierra Nevada of California and Oregon and Washington on the interior, and more snow there for the Cascade as that very potent storm starts to move out across the Rockies. Nice weather across the East Coast. We will have a front down here across Florida that might spread some showers along the mid-Florida coast there along the Atlantic. So Deerfield and Cape Canaveral might pick up some rain showers and a thunderstorm. But very nice weather here as high pressure is in control across the eastern half of the U.S. Warmer air is going to start to move in to the Midwest and the Plain States out ahead of that advancing storm system coming out of the Rockies. Now for your Thursday, again, that warm air is going to continue to be enhanced across the Midwest and the Plains, but we have that big storm coming out of the Rockies with that heavy snow through the Rockies and the Cascade Mountain Range. The Sierra Nevada Mountain Range as well is going to pick up some of that snow, and we're going to start to see some rain down into Arizona and Southern California and LA as well. We'll start to pick up some rain showers. Nice weather on the East Coast as high pressure again remains in control for your day on Thursday. So your Friday, here we are with that big storm moving across starting to move into the Plain States now. We got that southerly flow. We're going to be seeing some severe weather here through the Midwest and down into South Texas here. And a lot of severe weather might be possible as well as we head into the day on your Friday here through South Texas, through the Oklahoma and Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin as well. We could start to see the potential for thunderstorms and some severe weather. High pressure starts to move in behind the storm system coming into the Pacific Northwest, so we will start to see improving weather conditions out west, but things deteriorate across the nation's midsection. It's going to remain dry for another day across the eastern third of the U.S. out ahead of that advancing Midwest storm now. And your day on Saturday, I think this is our Saturday map, and we are looking at that severe storm moving across now here it is. We have this very strong area of low pressure here across Oklahoma. That's going to help to spread some severe weather across Texas. So we're going to look for a wild afternoon on your day on Saturday here on Texas. Has some severe weather, some flash flooding, maybe some tornadoes is possible as well. A little bit cooler to the north, so we're going to see mostly just some regular rain here across the Iowa and Wisconsin and Illinois and Indiana. So we're going to see just regular rain there across the Midwest, but we might see some embedded thunder, but most of the severe weather is going to happen down here to the south. And again, another nice day on the eastern third of the U.S. as that high pressure remains in control, but as you can see, it's slowly moving off to the east as this storm wants to advance and take its place. And here we are for your Sunday. Let's make sure that, yep, I'm right. I can't really see it, so I'm really kind of keeping track of what the map was. So here we are for your Sunday. So this forecast is through the remainder of the week. Here is our big Midwest storm. It lifts up into Minnesota. We could see some snow on the backside of this guy. So portions of the Dakotas, northern Minnesota might pick up its first significant snowfall of the season. But there's another storm that's going to form down here later afterwards that's going to move across the Midwest. And that's going to be the storm that's going to really pack some snow, where we can see as much of a foot of snow across portions of Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, and into Minnesota and Wisconsin. We can see some measurable snow, but that's still almost 10 days away, so that can change. But right now, the long-range models is depicting a pretty significant chance for snow through the Midwest in about 10 days from now. And here we are with that storm as it moves off to the east. We're going to see things warm up across the Northeast and the East Coast there. But that storm will be headed your way. So by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday, you'll be dealing with those thunderstorms as well. But I don't think we're going to see anything severe on the East Coast. Most of that severe is going to take place down here toward the south. So that is a look at your 7-day weather forecast, or their 7-day forecast or outlook. My name is Mr. G. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys all in the next video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.